Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week is one of our go-to podcast compadres, Mr. Levi Fletcher. Levi, how are you doing, pal?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Good. Oh, it's nice to have you back. We've had some guests on lately, and they've been great. We've had Rob, we've had Ben, we have somebody special next week, but it's just nice to just have my old buddy here. It's just good. It's heartwarming because we have a lot to discuss this week concerning games, movies, TV shows. That's what we talk about all the time here. Before we start getting into the two main topics we have this week, which will be about Pokemon and Solo, a Star Wars story, let's talk about a little bit of news first. Something we neglected to talk about last week, I want to touch on briefly with you here, Levi, is the fact that we have a trailer for Mowgli, which is a Jungle Book story, very similar in tone and style, it seems, to the most recently released Jungle Book that came out that Jon Favreau directed a little while back. This one featuring Andy Serkis, Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, and Benedict Cumberbatch, I believe, which is a pretty cool cast. But my question to you, man, is do you care about this movie at all?
Not in the slightest. Holy man.
Why don't you care?
Everything it's hard not to laugh. Okay. At Critical Reviews, we try to give every kind of adaptation a fair shot. But let's be real. This is just a rehash. We don't need this.
Yeah.
Nobody should spend money on this. I mean,
well, I feel bad because I know that at the time, Andy Serkis, he's like really passionate about this, it seems like. And he's playing Baloo. And one of the things he said was going to be different is that Baloo in the actual Jungle Book, the Rudyard Kipling book, is that Baloo is more of like a captain. He's more of like a authoritative. And so it's not going to be like that kind of chill Bill Murray Baloo. And he said, like, oh, there won't be any singing or dancing in this one, which I understand is interesting. It's like an adult take, but I don't know about this, man. I feel like it's coming too hot off the heels. I think they pushed it back not to fight with the other Jungle Book that Disney released because Jungle Book is in the public domain now. I just don't know, man. It seems like it looks too similar too, and I think a lot of people might be going into this movie thinking, oh, this might be a Jungle Book sequel. Do you think that could happen? I
think a big problem too is, yeah, it does look like a sequel, and also like we just don't need it. You don't. I'm sick of seeing so many like double feature movies now. We've got Girls Trip and then we've got Girls Night Out. I mean, they're both the same movie, just different story, or not even different story, different actresses and actors playing these different movies.
Yeah, I understand that. Another thing that's kind of weird too is that the CG looks kind of strange. It looks like it's too human with a lot of these actors, which I think all these actors are really, really good. It's just that you take like the photorealistic version that like the Jungle Book had with Disney, and you go to this version where their faces look kind of like human faces. It just seems a little like, I don't know. It just seems unfortunate. It feels like a step back in a lot of ways. And maybe the film will be really good. I don't want to judge it yet. Obviously we kind of have already a little bit, but it's nothing exists in a vacuum, unfortunately. And this coming out now is kind of like, I just don't know. I don't know if I care about this at all. It's so sad because I actually really liked the Jungle Book that Disney put out. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to see this. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, this was really freaking good. And the way they implemented the songs and how the animals looked and how they interacted was super good. And their Mowgli was really good. So that's going to be so hard to try and top, that even if they're trying to do something different. But aesthetically, it looks the same, kind of the browns and the greens that they had like prominently displayed. I don't know. Is there any of those actors, though, Levi, that I mentioned that you're kind of like, oh, cool, I'm excited that they're going to be in there?
I mean, yeah, it's cool. I like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I like, those other people. But I just have no interest in seeing this again.
Yeah.
I love Disney's version because it was it's actually a really cool, fresh take on it. They made things look so good. Like, when we were watching that movie together in the theater, I was like, damn, they did a good job with this, like the animation and everything. So the CGI, I thought it was really good. Mowgli, fresh new actor we haven't seen before. Yeah,
I know, it's weird. It's weird. We have weird feelings about it because while we love this kind of thing, it just seems a little too quick, hot on the heels, as it were. It kind of would be like if they did like a Sleeping Beauty adaptation or something nowadays, or I don't know. It just seems a little odd. Anyway,
we'll box it for sure.
What was that?
said we'll red box it for sure.
Oh yeah, exactly. We'll stream it for sure. Yeah, we'll definitely see it. Exactly. Same with Ready Player One. Anyway, moving on. Speaking about movies and games and all that, because flawless segue. Jamie Foxx, our boy Jamie, set to star in the Spawn remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it with Todd McFarlane. Levi, how do you feel about it? Jamie Foxx gonna be Spawn.
This is happening on the critical response of people seeing this new Venom movie coming out that's R-rated, and they're like, yes, something like this can be done. So now it's these R-rated superhero films are all going to come out of the woodwork, and we're going to see a big rise in that.
Are you excited about it though? Is that something you're interested in seeing, like him playing specifically this character?
Not at all. Excuse me.
It's killing him.
I've never been a big fan of Spawn.
What? Why don't you like Spawn? Spawn's so cool.
That clown is the worst thing in
Clown's
my nightmares.
bad.
Okay.
Clown's bad.
He ruined those films for me. Like, it just, I don't know. Our buddy Steve used to watch those movies. I didn't.
There's only one, I think.
Or watch it, whatever. He had it on. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm excited because Jamie Foxx, I think, is a good actor, but I think I've seen him in some bad stuff recently. The biggest thing I could think back to always is Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he played Electro. It was so bad. Yeah, wow, that was rough. But I know he's a good actor, and seeing him and stuff like Baby Driver and other things like that, I'm like, okay, yep, he's a good actor. I'm excited to see that. Plus, Todd McFarlane. Yeah, Todd McFarlane is directing this thing, so he, like, the guy who made Spawn is the guy who's going to direct this film, and he's going to try to like make this the best Spawn possible on a budget. And I think bringing Jamie Foxx on kind of brings a little more legitimacy to this whole thing, even if you consider it to be like a budgeted R-rated like superhero film. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, with the successes of Deadpool 2, and Logan, I think not going to be surprised if Spawn does okay. Hopefully, we just need to see like a little bit of it first. It just, if Jamie's in,
I'll check out some trailers. I mean, people, movies have won me over in the past that have redeemed themselves, so we'll check it out.
You're coming, man. I don't care what you say. You were going to join me in the theater. We're going to see Spawn.
I mean, if it's like Jesse Eisenberg is playing clown, then you can go fucking by yourself.
Oh my god, no, I'm not. If Jesse Eisenberg is cast as anything.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I just think that we should make a league of our own. Get out of here, Jesse. Go on. You actually, Jesse, be the Riddler. I swear, if you were the Riddler, it would be perfect.
Actually, I would see that. Yeah, I would be okay with that, but not Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yep. We love you, Rosenbaum. You're so good.
Not sponsored.
Anyway, not hashtag definitely not sponsored. Now let's get into something that is obviously going to be one of our big topics for today, because like the news, there has been news, but there are only two big things we need to talk about. One of those things happened just yesterday, which if you're watching this now happened a few days ago. There's an announcement for a little game coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Actually, two games. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Now, if you are like many people on the internet, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, this is that core game that they announced back in like, E3 last year. Oh my gosh, 2017. But no, it is not that. Don't worry. It's something different. Because there's still going to be a core, quote unquote, Pokemon game coming out in 2019 for the Switch. This is more of like a spiritual successor to Pokemon Yellow, like an up-resed version. However, instead of having just Pikachu to choose from, you can either have that or Eevee as kind of your companion. But I think the separation is with the game you purchase. I'm not sure if you can choose either or from that. Yeah, right, Levi. Am I on board?
Yeah,
I think that's right.
You get Pikachu if you choose Pikachu. You get Eevee if you choose Eevee.
Yeah. So, Levi, we're gonna get into the details about this. Our initial response from you. How do you feel about the game?
I was surprised by the Pokemon Go features. Knowing that it's not, right away I was a little disappointed, only because I have too many thoughts all at once. Okay, shotgun against the wall.
Do it.
I was a little surprised by the Pokemon Go features, and a little disappointed that it was at first thinking this was a core game.
Yeah.
Knowing right away that it's not the core game made me feel a lot better. I was like, nope, they're going to be fun installments. You get to go back to Pallet Town. You get Eevee, you get Pikachu. We get a remake. I personally like Pokemon Go. I still play it. So I think it's going to be fun.
So you said at first you were kind of disappointed because of the Pokemon Go elements.
Mhm.
Specifically, what are you mentioning? Like, what are
I
those
ju-
details?
I miss fighting. I miss fighting, and I miss as long as the gym trainers and like the gym leaders and the trainer fights are still there, I'll be down. Um, but the fact that your Pokemon can't fight the Pokemon to weaken it to capture it, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and I remember like before we talked about this, I was saying that to you too. Is kind of so basically what happens is there won't have any random battles anymore. You'll be walking around the
Mhm.
world and you'd see like if you're in a cave, like that first cave after Pewter City, which is called. Don't tell me it's something with a rock.
Rock Tunnel?
Is it Cerulean Cave? Is it
Wait,
rock? No, Rock Tunnel's after Cerulean. Is it Cerulean Cave?
no, Cerulean Cave is where Mewtwo is.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's Rock Tunnel.
No,
Union Cave?
no,
Is it
Rock Tunnel.
Union? Is it Union Cave?
No, it's Rock
Oh,
Tunnel's after.
let's do a little fact check.
Check it with the fact check. Anyway, I was gonna say, so you walk in there and you'd see like you would actually see a Zubat and a Geodude kind of walking around, and you'd pick.
Yeah.
Wait, it's Mount Moon. Mount Moon.
Here's my fact check music.
It's yeah. It's gotta be Mount Moon, right?
um, hold on.
I'm saying it's Mount Moon. It's got to be Mount
Pokemon
Moon.
Red and Blue, right?
Yeah, Mount Moon. Just type in Mount Moon. I'll be
Oh,
right.
I just
Because there's
I
Clefairy in there.
wait. Yes.
Was that right?
Yeah. Hold on.
Are your speakers on, by the way? I just want to make sure I'm not losing my mind over here. Check. 1, 2.
No.
Check. Okay, good. That's the
Why are you
Limp Bizkit.
hearing echo?
Nah, just me. I'm just nuts. Mount Moon. It's got to be Mount Moon. I will not accept anything if it is not Mount Moon. Otherwise, I can take my Pokemon fandom and just chuck it away.
If you're wrong, you have to play Eevee.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Actually, I've already talked to my cousin Brittany about this. She wants to play Pikachu, and Colton wants to play Eevee.
I don't care about that, man. Who are they?
Well,
Man, we get them out of here.
You care a lot.
I'm just
about
kidding.
family.
Colton and Brittany, I know you love watching the show. Just
They
avid viewers.
unsubscribe.
It's got to be Mount Moon. I feel like we're gonna spend like 20 minutes trying to figure out if it's Mount Moon. Did you just type in Mount Moon or how to get from Pewter City to Cerulean?
Yeah, no, I looked for like a walkthrough. God, it's been so long.
Why do you?
This is
You don't need a
terrible.
walkthrough. I'm gonna.
Oh,
You know
let me go look up EZA.
what? Mount Moon. Boom, Mount Moon. I'm right. Yep, Mount Moon. I
Are
did
you
it.
sure?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, Route 1, Viridian City, Viridian Forest. Route 3, Mount Moon, Route 4, Cerulean City, Gym. Then you go to Vermilion City, SSA, and Vermilion Gym. Wow, this is cool. It's all laid out right now.
Anyway, so okay, but we're gonna get away from that. So there won't be random battles anymore. So you just walk up to a Pokemon, say it's a Clefairy or a Geodude or whatever. You walk up to them and you just throw a Pokeball at them. And depending on how you throw the Pokeball with a Joy-Con, you only need one Joy-Con because there's drop in, drop out. I think co-op, so you could play with someone else. But you throw it, and depending on how you throw it, then you have a higher success chance of actually capturing the Pokemon. That's what Levi and I were talking about. It's kind of weird. You kind of take that hunting.
No, I'm down with the. I'm over random encounters. Like
I'm over random encounters. I'm not over the fact that I could just walk up to any Pokemon and throw enough Pokeballs at it to capture it. Because like that was the whole point. It was like you can't just throw Pokeballs. Like that was one of the core fundamental things of Pokemon is that you can't just like capture any Pokemon that you see with just like throwing a Pokeball. You have to earn it.
Looking at some footage right now of like what it says right when you get in a fight, and it's like get ready, chuck something at it. Like
yeah, it's exactly like Pokemon Go. It's Pokemon Go basically for that. However, there are trainer and gym battles, I believe, so you'll still be able to actually get into the old school battles. It's just that with regular Pokemon, you won't, which seems weird to me. I'm not sure if they could add that in. Just seems odd. But there are some other elements to the game that I looked into that seem kind of interesting. Right now, we're not sure if Z moves and Mega Evolutions are going to be there, but it sounds like something from Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver will be returning. You could choose a secondary Pokemon to follow you around, and you can even ride on some of the bigger Pokemon. But Masuda, I think the game director said, at one point we had people ride on the backs of smaller Pokemon, and we felt sorry for them. And I was just saying, you hop onto a Jigglypuff, you're like, go, Jiggly, go. And it's just like, it's just like, you're like, go. So I think that's kind of cool. I like having a Pokemon, follow behind me, riding on a Pokemon. And I was telling Levi before we started this, I thought about it. It clicked in my mind. I'm like, oh, I can ride an Arcanine? I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, I want to ride on the back of an Arcanine. That's really cool. I'm really excited about that. But It sounds like with Pikachu and Eevee, though, you won't be able to evolve them because they'll just be hanging out with you the whole time. And they try to make these Pokemon, as they say, expressive as possible, and you can actually get little outfits to make them wear. But don't worry, if you want a Raichu, a Vaporeon, a Jolteon, or a Flareon, you can still catch these random Pokemon out in the wild. Well, as far as like an Eevee or a Pikachu, you can catch them.
So your initial Pokemon, they can't help you with gym battles?
They've got to be able to, because like you wouldn't be able to. I think you could still use them in a fight, but you don't have to do that. It also says here, this is really interesting, and I think it's actually a cool idea, is that your Pokemon box is with you at all times. So you can swap out Pokemon whenever you want, even if they're not in your core party. And I think they say you can even send your Pikachu and your Eevee away if you don't want them.
Just like Pokemon Go. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, that's kind of cool, because that way if you get saddled with, let's go Eevee or Pikachu, depending on if you didn't like that Pokemon, you'd be like, yeah, get out of here. And then you could just have an Eevee follow you around or a Pikachu follow you around if you just didn't get that one, which is nice.
It looks like Pikachu's battling this Venonat with Bulbasaur. So
yeah, they have to. If they're your starter Pokemon, that would be so mean to like give you that and be like, sucks.
Double battles though, those weren't available in.
Oh, they've got double battles, which are okay. Yeah, that wasn't back in the old day, for sure not. My question though, they say if it's going to be kind of like a spiritual successor to Yellow, are we going to get Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur just for free? Like when you're going through the game and it's like, oh yeah, this Squirtle's been causing a lot of problems. You should probably take him off our hands. And you're like, okay, cool.
Well, God, I want to say if it's anything like Pokemon Go, you're going to get 1 million Squirtle, 1 million Charizards, 1 million, 1 million of those Pokemon.
No, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be like Pokemon Go in that respect. I think it's going to be like it in these, like the actual gameplay, but I don't think there's going to be Squirtles. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be thousands of Squirtles walking around. Like,
dang. When I'm thinking about it, I'm almost getting like a Digimon World feel.
Oh, dude, totally.
Where you're seeing the monster sprites on the screen, and I'm racing through my head now. I'm like, okay, if you want to level up a Jigglypuff, I'm sure you have to catch enough Jigglypuff and you get enough candies, kind of like Pokemon Go. I think that's how it's gonna work. But
yeah, I think that's a safe bet. So Levi, for you, what is like a selling feature of this game? If you're like, man, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I want to get it, but what was it for you where you're like, okay, I'm like in?
I think it looks super cute. I like what they did with the animations, and it's all fully 3D realized, and I personally like the touch of like being able to take your Pokemon Go, swap back and forth, get additional items and stuff like that. I think that's cool.
So one thing that does kind of bother me, thinking, like, kind of looking at some of this stuff, like there's like a moment where like they both throw Pokeballs at a Clefairy, and then they like get it. It's like,
I just watched that again.
It doesn't make me feel good. I'm like, what the heck? So like somebody jumped in my game and I'm like, let's do this together. And it's like, it would be much cooler if both of us could each have a Pokemon out to fight that Clefairy, and then the Clefairy's like really definitely screwed because like it's fighting two of us. Like, and how cool would that be to fight like, oh my gosh, think about this. What if you're fighting like Zapdos? You're fighting Zapdos and you're like, man, this is really tough. But then your buddy comes in and they're like, you don't have to do this alone. And you got Golem up there, they got Onyx, and you're like taking turns just beating it down, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna capture this. They'd be like, and then you have to fight over who decides. Well, I guess if you're the host game, then you'd get it, but whatever. It'd be kind of fun if you're both like, all right, I'm gonna capture it. You're like, no, I am, and then you have to fight each other. That would be nuts. It'd be kind of like jolly cooperation, like turned on its head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I think now this is a theory I have. If this isn't the core game that they talked about, I think that means that the next big game in Pokemon is either going to A, feature all Pokemon from all generations, or B, only focus on a newer generation with some of the older ones in there. So that way this will assuage people that get really angry that this new core game isn't like the one that I had dreamed of, the one a lot of people have dreamed of, but more of like an immersive Pokemon, like not from the top down. I mean like a third person kind of style game where you're walking through the world of Pokemon. I think that's what's going to happen. I think this next Pokemon game is going to be pretty crazy and out there and make people angry.
I think it's too hard to predict what Nintendo's going to do or Game Freak. So all bets are off. I think you're right though. I think that it's probably going to be all the Pokemon with a new generation.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get a game like this where it's this 3D drop down still view, better graphics, but core gameplay.
I just don't think it'll take place in Kanto. I really
No,
don't.
not in Kanto, but I can definitely see them using this engine because they're not going to rebuild a whole engine for a new game.
I don't know. Maybe they will because they don't call
God.
this a core game. I think this is just. I really think they're going to do something totally different with the next one, and I think that's what people are more like. I think people thought that's what this was.
Some big selling points for me already is that you can run around in this world. I can't wait to run around in a 3D yellow world.
Yeah, it is 3D, but it's not like. I just keep thinking, what if it could have been like from that perspective? Like, I don't like looking from above. I want to be down in it, so I'm like fully in it. You know what I mean? Like, think if you're walking around like Uncharted style, like in Pallet Town or Cinnabar Island. Like, how cool would that be? Like, you're walking around, you're like,
or Skyrim style is what you're
or
first
too.
person.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not first person. No, not first person. Third person. You want to look at your trainer. You want to be able to customize them, which we're not sure if you can customize them. They have said though that Johto is definitely not going to be in this game. Sucks, but I mean, I get it. That's fine.
No, they'll make a new version for Johto, I'm sure.
And they also said, and you told me that it's only halfway through the game that you can do this, but you can transfer in your Pokemon Go Pokemon into Let's Go.
Mm-hmm. And you get certain items and stuff like that too.
So obviously they are trying to kind of capitalize on the love of Pokemon Go, and this might just be a marketing move where they said, "Hey, Pokemon Go is still kind of a big deal. What if we can get people to pay $50 a pop for this?"
Surprisingly, Pokemon Go still has a pretty decent fan base. I mean, it's not mainstream anymore, but a lot of people are still playing it. They keep having fresh new events that happen. They would have to make a Johto, and they would someday make a Hoenn version of this to link up with Pokemon Go because we're in Gen 3 right now for Pokemon Go. So they're gonna have to make a Johto version of this. They're gonna have to make another.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll do is they'll have the core games moving forward be different and add new things, but they'll just keep doing these Pokemon Let's Goes, you know, for the next couple of things. One other thing that I thought that was kind of interesting here, I was going to say Dragon Quest XI, that's the best thing I could say. It would be like, oh, that's the type of game I wanted, where it's like, you see the monsters in the overworld. Anyway, so Levi, question. Will you be picking up the Pokeball Plus that you can get, and you can throw a Pokeball at your TV screen, except you don't throw it, and then you can take it with you, and you can like touch the button with a Pikachu in it, and it's like Pika, and you're like rub it, and it's like Pika.
I'm gonna break my monitor on screen with that damn like during streaming, like during a stream, I'm gonna be like, go Pokemon, just ruin my monitor.
Everybody, make sure to use the wrist straps.
I will be getting the Pokeball. Fuck
what?
Yes.
Oh really?
Yes. Oh yeah. If I can, because seriously, like, I need to pick up a Pogo Plus. If it saves your steps and you don't have to have the game open, that's cool for me. So I can hatch eggs and I can level up Pokemon while I'm walking.
Well, that's for the Pokemon Go thing, but for the Pokeball, that's just for like capturing.
Oh, just for Pikachu? No, it's got a couple different things. You can take Pikachu with you, and I think you can take Pokemon with you too.
Can you take any Pokemon with you?
I don't know. I guess I'm watching that part actually right now again.
Yeah, they show Pikachu, or it's like kind of glows yellow, and I don't know if they'll do one for Eevee, but like if I caught Mewtwo and put him in the Pokeball, would it just be like it just shake angrily, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like you can capture the Pokemon, and it'll go on the Pokeball. So here's what's cool too, is that, God, I just lost my train of thought. So many.
Pokeball.
Yeah, this game is like shattering people's. It's like number 2 on trending right now on YouTube as of right now, May 30th, 2018.
Right after critical reviews, am I right? Definitely not.
I don't.
Keep
I lost my train of thought.
thinking. Don't worry, I've got a few more facts for people. Sounds like we're not going to be getting anything other than the like kind of 151 Pokemon, but we are also getting their Alolan versions, I believe. So try to drink that in if you can.
Those are fine if you do. I mean, you don't have to have those. They're just cosmetics. So actually, no. Exeggutor Alolan is half grass, half dragon. So it's weird. Yeah.
Sorry, I hold on. Let me take that back. It says here off IGN, any Pokemon that hails from Kanto and their Alolan forms will be transferable to Pokemon Let's Go. So I don't know if you'll be midway through the game. So you're not going to be like walking around and be like an Alolan Exeggutor and be like, yeah, okay. That makes a little more sense. Because I don't want to see a golem with a freaking mustache. This makes me so angry. I won't lie to you guys. Pokemon Red and Blue, and specifically also Pokemon Gold and Silver, are some of the best games of all time to me. But that's because I grew up with them. Do they hold up? Well, maybe Gold and Silver a little bit better. But this does make me excited, but it also concerns me because of the way you catch Pokemon and some of these other kind of mobile-esque designs built into this console game. It is not the Pokemon game that I was hoping for. I won't lie to you, because I've had that dream for a long time that it would be a little bit of a mix of like Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, stuff like that, with a kind of third-person perspective in the world, and then you get to control the Pokemon when they're actually fighting and actually make battles instead of stagnantly staring at each other, you jumping around and fighting each other. I think there was like a computer game or someone was making a game that was like that, which was really fun to play. I think until Nintendo took it down. I think anyway. I'm not sure. But Pokemon is still alive and well, and it's coming to Switch, and that's cool to see because Pokemon deserves to not only be on the handheld stuff, but it deserves to be on a console, deserves to be on your TV more than most, franchises. So I'm excited, but skeptical. Levi?
Same. I think it's going to be really fun. I don't think maybe the Pokemon Go thing won't be too much into it because it looks like there's just a park that you can transfer them over to. Maybe you can just take your Pokemon from Pokemon Go and put them in a safari park.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Instead of like letting you cheat and just transferring a Dragonite right over and bulldozing Misty. I think it looks really cute. I think it looks really fun. It's not the game that we were all hoping for. We're gonna have to wait till next year for that, but. I think it's gonna be really
Question, cool. Levi. We're gonna review this game. I think we should do it together. Do you want Pikachu or Eevee?
I'm gonna go Eevee.
You're gonna go Eevee, huh?
I'm gonna go Eevee. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to go Eevee.
No. I'm cool.
I've done Pikachu. I've done Pokemon Yellow.
I don't think I ever have. I did
Pokemon Yellow again on the 3DS last couple years ago. So
I think we had it. Or a friend of mine had it, and I never played it, and I remember being kind of jealous because I thought it was cool, but I also thought it was cheap because they give you Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. So again, I don't know if they're going to give those Pokemon to you during this game. They might. I wouldn't be surprised, man, to see that. Do you think, what are the chances that they just hand you?
God, I don't know. They probably will.
Yeah.
They'll probably hand you, but my question is, how do we level these Pokemon up?
So
is it the Pokemon Go version? Do you need to capture multiple to evolve?
I don't think so. I think it seems like trainer battles, boss battles, and then actually catching other Pokemon. But I don't know if that means you have 6 Pokemon in your party, and then whenever you catch a Pokemon, they all gain experience, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not like you put them all out of their Pokeballs. You're like, all right, guys, watch me catch this, Psyduck, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'm stronger now. And they're like that. I don't know. There's so many questions about this game. And I think that just goes to show how many people not only love this franchise, but how popular this franchise still is because it's very divisive. If people haven't been checking this stuff out across social media, people are either really for it or really pissed. And it's interesting to see that. But again, this is not the core game that they talked about back at E3. And I think that's where it's confusing to people. I think if they would have announced this at E3 along with the actual core game, people would be like, okay. They also have released another Pokemon game, Levi, that you've been playing a little bit of called
Pokemon Quest.
Pokemon Quest, and it looks like it looks Minecrafty, but they're just all cubes smashed into each other.
Yeah, it's currently free on the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be on mobile. It's cute. Yeah, you don't control your Pokemon; you get to control their attacks. And you make food and you attract other Pokemon to your base, and then you get those Pokemon and you can boost them up with attack charms. And definitely not a traditional game, but it's fun to play.
Question: Eevee, what do you evolve it into?
Shit! Don't put me on the spot like this. Leafeon?
No, you can't. Get that out of here.
Leafeon's my favorite.
What? Leafeon's your favorite?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't like Flareon. Okay. I like Flareon I've always liked Flareon in the anime. I've never liked Flareon in the games. Don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, Flareon never translated well for me in the games. Vaporeon is cool. Don't make fun of me. I have my own. I'm a strong, independent person.
That's true. I just love
I have my own opinion, James.
It's like being like, I really like Ditto in the anime, but not in the game, because in the anime,
Ditto's just a pile of Miley Cyrus garbage. So
no, he can turn into a legit canon in the anime. That's canon in the canon.
yeah, we're gonna get off topic here. I just watched one of the first episodes of Pokemon, something about Maiden's Point or something like that, and Ghastly's doing all these crazy things, and I'm like, what the?
Do not watch that alone. It's creepy.
Yeah. And then now I'm on like the Sabrina episode, but no. Yeah, I know I would probably pick Jolteon or Vaporeon.
Okay. Well, I have your list you sent me here yesterday of your dream team of 6, and we're going to run through it real quick. You said Lapras for sure.
Love Lapras.
You spelled Lapras correctly, by the way. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to save the second one because you said he was your favorite. But Lapras, Gengar, Dragonite, Venusaur, Raichu, and then your personal favorite is?
Cubone.
Cubone. Why do you love Cubone?
Cubone is the cutest. I love that. Okay, couple things. Cubone and Marowak have this really cool story, with the whole Lavender Town thing, the Mount Pokemon, Mount Fuji.
Pokemon Tower and Mr. Fuji?
Pokemon Tower and Mr. Fuji, yeah.
Classic time Cubone and Marowak ascended Mount Fuji.
Yeah. They're the only Pokemon that know Boomerang. They're the only ones that can do it. He's just a cute little guy. Yeah.
Did you know about what Cubone's wearing on its head?
Yeah, his mother's dead skull. And I mean, like, if that isn't badass enough, then
that's true.
Not only that, but like, I like Marowak. He's cool, but I love Cubone.
Are you now? You sound like you are, but I am also kind of a sucker for the Gen 1 Pokemon that don't necessarily evolve like 2 times, evolve maybe once, and they have like a very specific move. So Boomerang is one of those. I think of like Pinsir has like Guillotine.
Love Pinsir.
You're like, okay. Yeah, does Scyther doesn't have any special like signature attacks that
just
like are
Fury
its own.
Swipes, and like I wish he had like a sword.
Well, it's got Slash and Sword Dance, but it doesn't. It's not like
Scyther's Sword Dance in the first game, first gen. It comes in Gen 2. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Him and Farfetch'd. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's in Gen 1 because I remember in Pokemon Stadium. But then again, Pokemon Stadium they give crazy moves to some of the Pokemon, so I don't know. Fact check that for me.
Introduced in Gen 1. Yep, TM03.
Yeah. But he has it. Does he learn it automatically, or do you have to teach it to him? That's the question.
Scyther.
That's the question.
He learns it at level 35.
Then he learns at 35. Oh, cool.
Yep.
I also like when Charizard learns Wing Attack, right when it evolves. It's like, oh yeah, it gets wings. It's like, yeah, I can attack people with these things. And you're like, cool, Charizard, that's sick.
Charizard wasn't originally a dragon, right?
Charizard.
Now he is a dragon.
Was he fire? I think he was like fire. But then again, like Gyarados is like water.
He didn't know flying, right? You couldn't do flying with one of those.
With Charizard, you couldn't do it.
Which was so weird.
When you looked, if you look back at Gen like or Pokemon Red and Blue, you can see like the little pictures of them in like your little box. And Charizard he'd look like kind of like a baby Rhydon or something.
Yeah.
But Lapras looked like a flat, and Blastoise would be like a flat like squid thing. You're like, oh, that one could surf, But if they look like a bird, then you could fly with them. It was weird. Yeah. Anyway, Pokemon. So you're going with Eevee. I'm going with Pikachu. Are we going to? We're gonna have to couch co-op this, man, or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to find a way to play. So, like, we're gonna have to battle each other or something at some point. I don't know. I'm excited.
Well, I'm definitely picking up both games. I'll be fair there, because I definitely will play both of them through once.
Why do you have to do? You have to pick up both. I'll get one and you get the other, and then we can swap. It's fine. I don't think it's gonna be that different.
We could do that too. Yeah.
Do you think that they would put specific ones like they did in Blue and Red again? Would they be like, all right, Nidoran male in this game, Nidoran female in this game? Do you think they're gonna do that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to trade. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
On our Switches, we're gonna have to trade. Yeah, I think trading's still gonna be a big thing.
Gosh. All right. Well, we'll see about that. It sounds
we're
like
going back to 5th grade. Okay. 3rd grade.
Yeah, exactly. Give the link cable, baby. It doesn't sound like they're gonna plan on using a lot of the online features though, so I'm not sure what going forward they're gonna do with that. So I don't know. But anyway, Hypometer 0 to 10 or 0 to 100 degrees, as it were. Levi, where do you sit with Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee?
I mean, right now off the freaking chain.
So like 100?
I think this is like 100. Yeah, this is a big deal.
All right. I want to say 80 or 85. or 8.5. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about this one.
You're
I just
gonna
need to
like this
play it.
game. You're gonna like this game.
I just don't like the whole capturing thing. That seems like so like.
You'll get over it.
But like, you got to work for it, man. Like, I don't want to fight Mewtwo and be like, I threw the Pokeball just right. You know what I mean? And then capture him. Be like,
We don't know. We don't know yet.
they should change that. Allow me to fight Pokemon, Game Freak and Nintendo. Please let me do that. Like, not just trainer battles, but like random Pokemon. Let me do that. You guys have time. You could do this.
What if that's like an option?
I want it to be an option. Needs to be an option.
Yeah.
I want to see if there's anything else in here that I might have missed about. There's so many details.
I'm just not. I mean, Nintendo right now is just so unpredictable. So
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm happy to know that you can evolve other Pokemon. I get why you can't evolve Pikachu and Eevee, like the ones you get because they're supposed to be like with you the whole time. And that's like the name of the game. But it would be kind of stupid if they're like, and there's no other Pikachu or Eevee in this world. You'd be like, what? Like, which, you know, as kids, we never even thought about why there weren't any other Squirtles or Charmanders. Like, you'd see other trainers in like Gold and Silver have them, but you're like, nobody ever gets these. These are very rare Pokemon.
yeah.
So
Plus, yeah, because I remember if you evolved Pikachu, he didn't like you. He was pretty unhappy for most of the game.
in Yellow,
In Yellow, yeah, because you could turn around and talk to Pikachu, and he would have like a little heart, or he would do like a little animation. And he was pissed for a long time.
when you turn him into Raichu,
Yeah, he was pissed for a while.
would he look like a Raichu when he followed you around?
I don't think so. No,
also,
I don't.
I wonder if he could still learn Surf, because I know Pikachu in Yellow could learn Surf.
I think he disappears if you and he doesn't follow you anymore.
Okay. Interesting. I'm also looking up how the co-op and stuff works. It's like kind of like that drop in and stuff. I don't know if that means they can pull from your Pokemon. So it says the bottom line is that it really is to make the second player a support role. So the idea is that the first player adventure, if you only have one Switch in the house and there are siblings, each sibling can start their own game. Okay, so you're supposed to help them out. You got to back them up. That's why it'd be so much cooler if you're double teaming on one Pokemon.
Yeah, that's why they have the whole throw both Pokeballs in case, you know.
I know, but it'd be so much cooler if you had a 2-on-1 Pokemon fight. It would be cheap, and that's the point. I'm just saying.
Their audience, though, for this game is younger.
Think about this, Levi, just for a second. You and I, we're hanging out by the SSN, and you're like, you know what? I've got a super rod. We'll just say it's later in the game. And you go fishing, and for some odd reason, you pull a Gyarados. A Gyarados comes roaring out of the water, all right? And you're like, oh my gosh, man, I need some backup. You send out Raichu. I'm sending out like Scyther, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And we basically make a Chidori with Thunder and Slash, and we just take it down. And then you capture it, and I'm like, all right, yeah. And Scyther like gives me like a Scyther, and we do like a fist bump and cuts my hand. I'm like, Scyther. I'm just saying that's my dream, man. Gosh, I want to get down in the Pokemon world. I want to get down there like Pokemon Snap. Put me in that world, baby. All right. Anyway, that's Pokemon. I want to know if everybody else is as excited as Levi, or are they cautious like me a little bit? We'll see.
My biggest question to you, how do you feel about us being 27?
Uh-oh.
And still, and this isn't just us. There's plenty of people in our age group still that love Pokemon. It's beloved to a lot of people. How crazy is that? That a franchise this long still has people, you know, invested.
Yeah, I get that. And obviously, like, the franchise was always built kind of for kids more so. So I can understand where that's the confusion. Like, it's like, why are you still interested in this? However, I look at people who loved Star Wars back in, like, when they first saw it in the 70s, and they're like, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And obviously, that's more of, like, a little more adult. But it didn't, like, Pokemon is... I really feel like it's a phenomenon where, like, you know, with Care Bears or something like that, like, those didn't, like, take off in the same way. Digimon, not as much. But, like, Pokemon, it just, like, was so at those formative years, especially, like, for us. Like, I met you when Pokemon was big. It was, like, 3rd grade, 4th grade. Like, that's when, like, it was, like, a big freaking deal. And I think that just resonates with us because it's not only nostalgic, but it's just simple. And there's something about that simplicity that I think a lot of people love. And just the iconic look.
Platforms too. You got trading cards. You've got the games,
the movies.
The movies, the TV shows.
Yeah,
I mean, it was rampant.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it still is. I mean, look at our mobile devices. Like, the fact that Pokemon Go was so crazy, and it struck a chord with people like us, but also brand new people. And that's why I think this game is targeting all the people who play Pokemon Go for free. And they're like, hey, what if we got $50 for that? That'd be sweet per person.
I'm kicking myself for not keeping my cards from when I was younger.
Oh, I still have my shinies, my holographics.
Some of those are worth it. You
Yeah,
should look
well,
it up and check out the value of some.
wouldn't want to sell them. It'd hurt my heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just think it's okay. I think it's okay to still love Pokemon. I think it's okay to love
Oh
anything,
yeah.
honestly. Like, and even if I'm 27, it's still hopefully when I'm 97, I'll be
No,
like, I love
my question
Arcanine.
to you is like how that no, it doesn't care about that. I still watch Pokemon. Who cares? My question was like, how crazy is it that it's lived this
Oh,
long?
sure,
And
yeah.
that Pokemon was as big as it got. Just for a mobile game, like it's nuts.
Isn't it weird too that like it was Pokemon and then like after that there was like kind of Yu-Gi-Oh, but then like the next big thing was like Harry Potter. Like how weird like the shift is. It's like we grew up
It was like
with
wizards
these,
and yeah.
it's like we grew up with these generational phenomenons that like took off in like these huge ways and like are still really meaningful to a lot of us. And yeah, there's something just like, I mean, I look at these Pokemon over here, like Arcanine. There's the Alolan Raichu, obviously, with Charizard. Like they will always like stir something in me, and I just love, not only the design, but just like the combination of different animals and like the typing and everything is cool, and all that stuff. But honestly, Arcanine is a dog and a tiger. It's like the two favorite things you smash any guy. Yeah, but it's crazy, but it makes sense, and I hope that Pokemon just keeps going until we make that beautiful, perfect game. Which
I remember switching. I remember when it was cool to switch to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a lot easier for us to understand.
The card game was
the point system, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
that card game, the Pokemon card game, it's not as tough as I think we made it out to be, but for kids, it was like, all right, I need 3 energy cards for this attack. Do I lose those energy upon using that attack? Like, it didn't come with a guidebook. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like, all right, here you go. And old school Yu-Gi-Oh! You could just play whatever, whenever. And now it's like sacrificing and doing all this stuff. Like, I'm just going to throw Summon Skull down. Boom. Suck that. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Here's Blue Eyes, baby. Freaking love Blue Eyes. Anyway, Blue Eyes White Dragon and then Arcanine. Anywho, I just want to be Seto Kaiba. We're excited, obviously. Like I said, I'm skeptical, but it's coming out at a perfect time of year. I think they said December or November. Do we have a release date, Levi? I thought it was November.
November 16th?
November 16th, which is the same day as that next Harry Potter movie. Look at that.
Yeah. And not just that. I mean, let's talk about this Nintendo Switch for a second and this stacked holiday season coming up. We're gonna have Smash.
Do we know Smash for sure?
Smash for sure is coming out this year. Absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna have Smash. We're gonna have Pokemon Go. We're gonna have. I mean, it's gonna be nuts.
Let's go. Yeah. But it's just those 2 games. Like they're not gonna have Red Dead Redemption 2, any of the Call of Duty stuff.
Not for Switch. No.
Yeah, which is fine. It's okay. That means that November 16th is also my mom's birthday. So look at that. Happy birthday, Ma. Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, anything else? Any other closing thoughts you want to have on Pokemon Let's Go before we move on?
We could talk about this for another 2 hours. No, I'm excited for it. I feel like this is going to be just one of those. It's like going to go see Solo. It's a fun experience that, it'll be fun.
That's going to get a lot of criticism. All right, perfect. We'll just move right into the next segment of the show here. So, but like I said, I want to know what everybody thinks. Please tweet us or comment down below about how you feel about Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Tweet. We're moving on to the other main segment of the show. Today, we're going to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. Because look at me, I'm wearing this Millennium Falcon. It's like I wore it in my review, which you can check out over here. It's really great. I'm really proud of that intro. It's like 3 seconds long, but I'm really proud of it. But you should definitely check that out. It's spoiler-free, and we are going to talk vaguely in broad strokes here about Solo going forward for the next few minutes. So don't worry if you don't want it spoiled for you, if you haven't seen it yet, if that's something you're concerned about. There will be timestamps down below when we actually get into the spoiler section, which I like to notify people by flipping the good old-fashioned spoiler switch right over here, which you can't see right now. It's invisible because I don't want anybody flipping it but me. So, Levi, Solo, briefly describe to me the plot. What was it about? Who's this Solo guy? What's he doing?
So Solo tells the story of a young Han Solo before his time in the rebellion, and just living as a smuggler. This is the start of his life, learning the tricks of the trade from someone who's crazy in this world called Tobias Beckett. You'll never meet anybody else in Star Wars with this kind of a name. And just learning how to be a smuggler, and he wants to save his gal friend. And
yes. So Levi, if you could like tell people, if you were trying to sell people on Solo, or just kind of describe what you did or didn't like about it without like getting too specific, what would you say?
I thought Solo was super fun, fast paced, great action. Um, and what I didn't like about it, I don't know if the lead character resonated with me as I thought a Solo should. Didn't really make me care about Han Solo as a character any more than, you know.
You already had, yeah,
I've
sure.
never, I've never been a huge. I'm gonna get yelled at for this. I've never been a huge Solo fan to begin with.
No, that's fine. You're not gonna get yelled at.
I've never been one to be. I'm gonna get all these tweets.
That'd be great.
Because we're so popular now. I've never been a huge, Chewbacca or Solo fan to begin with. So when he died, I didn't really care.
When Chewbacca died.
What?
What? I'm just kidding.
Chewie,
when he gets smashed with that moon. Remember in the comics he gets smashed with the moon. Yeah.
He does?
Yeah, he does in the comics. But that was like Legends continuity. Yeah.
Jesus. No. I never really cared much about Solo anyway. Sure. I always thought that he was like a weird, campy character. Yeah.
Sure. I would say it's fun. I would say, it, like you said, it is fast-paced. It does move around a lot. But I would say there are parts that do drag a little bit because it's a heist movie. You kind of want there to be that kind of high tension a lot of the time. And it just kind of goes from one little heist to the next pretty quickly. So there isn't like, it's not like Ocean's 11 where it's like, oh, plan the entire time and then do the heist. It's a lot of just like backstabbing and a lot of like who's doing what with whom. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of like Pirates of the Caribbean, like At World's End.
Yeah. It's got an Infinity War feel to it also.
What do you mean it's got an Infinity War?
With like the whole heist, like moving around.
I guess.
Planet to planet to planet to section to section to section.
People calling Infinity War a heist movie, I still don't think is right. I don't. It's not like Thanos is like, all right, here's the plan.
Grand Theft Infinity Stones.
No, it's not that. Anyway, I would say that the performances are fine. I guess I'm with you kind of about. I thought he was fine. I thought the guy who played Han was fine. Alden Ehrenreich or whatever. I thought he was pretty good. I think it's hard because like, how do you even try to fit into a role that like so many people love? Like it's just like so tough. I actually really liked Kira. His love interest, and I thought his relationship with her was much more fascinating than it is with Leia. Honestly, I really thought it was much cooler. I think she's much more interesting than Leia because you never know what's going on with her and their kind of their romance and all that comes with it.
I completely agree.
I would say that I think Lando was a little hyped up. I think Donald Glover's fine. I don't think he's that great, and I don't think like Lando is like a super cool character. He wasn't as warm and charming as Billy D. Williams, and maybe he'll get to that point eventually, but this Lando is like a younger Lando, and he's very like he's like a snake. He's like a super snake. Like, and not saying that Lando in Empire isn't that, but that one he's just charming your pants off like the whole time. But this one was not that. I don't think any of the other side characters were super interesting, to be honest, except for Beckett. I thought Beckett was really cool. I think Woody Harrelson is just the best actor that they have on board. And I think he kind of stole the show from me in a lot of the scenes he was in. And I thought he was like a pure smuggler. Kind of reminds me a little bit of how Jeffrey Rush, for me, kind of takes a lot of that first Pirates of the Caribbean as Barbossa. And it's like, okay, this is like the true pirate. This is like the true smuggler. And like, I like that guy because I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that. And yeah, action's good. Cinematography is really good. Looks like it's a very pretty looking film. They actually use a lot of practical effects and actual locations that look really nice. The way they shoot it reminds me a lot of Rogue One. So if you kind of have that feel or that want for that kind of the rebellion era, around A New Hope, I would say that's kind of what this movie goes for. So but what do you give it, Levi? If you had to give it a score out of 10, what do you give it?
I think I gave it like I'd say probably like a 7.5 out of 10.
And would you recommend anyone to see this movie, or would you say just Star Wars fans? Who would you say should go see this?
No, I mean, I feel like, especially with this film, you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to enjoy this kind of film. Actually, this is a really good introduction to the world, I feel like, because it doesn't have all the overcomplicated story of like the Jedi and the Sith, and you don't need to know that side of it. You don't need to know the Force. You don't need to know that stuff to understand where this is in the world.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And like I mentioned before, if you want to see what my score is. You can watch the review and tell your friends. Anyway, all right, Levi, are you ready for me to flip the old spoiler switch?
Flip the hyperdrive.
Here we go. Ready? Punch it. Okay. It's not that many spoilers. Okay. A few things first. First, Han Solo, how he gets his name. He's just Han or whatever. Do you care that like he was given that name by like the Imperial recruiter because he goes to like join the Empire and they're like he's like Han Solo because you're
It
by
was
yourself.
funny more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I was like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, it's better than him giving himself. He's like, I will be Han Solo. You know, like that. His introduction to Chewie is like he gets thrown in this pit where they say they've been throwing people before. It's very Rancor-esque Return of the Jedi, where they've been throwing other people, and there's a beast down there eating people. Is Chewie eating humans down there? Are they throwing bodies to Chewie to kill them?
The consensus is yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Chewie was eating what he had to eat to survive.
Yeah, he did. I thought that whole sequence was pretty good, and I actually really like Chewie. I think he's pretty good in this movie. I mean, he doesn't it's not like all about him, but like kind of tying that into the fact that he sees other Wookiees like on that mining planet and he tries to go liberate them. I thought that was kind of interesting.
He actually doesn't have as much screen time as I thought he would have.
Sure, he kind of follows them around, but there's enough of that kind of back and forth. They're very kind of like Rocket and Groot kind of like thing where it's like, oh, they're kind of working together all the time. And yeah, I like Chewie. I think Chewie's pretty good. Who is your favorite character in this whole film, though?
Gosh, it would have to be Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
Okay, so you like him too.
Woody Harrelson and Kiara was great too. I love Emilia Clarke. She's so good in Game of Thrones.
Really?
So.
I've heard mixed people say like they don't like her acting sometimes. I don't know. I haven't really watched Goat.
She makes a great Dragon Queen, so
okay.
In my opinion.
You leaned over to me when they introduced kind of the main villain, who's played by Paul Bettany, and you're like, "Is it Jarvis?" And I was like,
"Forgot about Jarvis."
Yes. Vision. Did you like him in this movie? Because I thought he was kind of meh.
I liked him in this film. Yeah, I thought he makes for a good villain. Absolutely.
Okay.
He keeps his calm, but then he's like kind of crazy.
Sure. I know his face is all messed up. What did you think of the giant worm lady in the beginning?
Super. I mean, that's just part of Star Wars. Is you always get a little bit of camp. You know,
something just weird. You're like, oh, it's just a weird monster.
It's very campy, yeah. And that's in every Star Wars film. You get a little weird alien singing scene, which is campy, or something like this.
Or they add that in.
Proxima was interesting.
Dude, it is the year for Proximas because I think Proxima Midnight is the name of one of Thanos' guardians in Infinity War. And I'm like, what's this? Proxima's going around right now. Did you like the action? Because I thought it was interesting that they actually did kill off a lot of these characters pretty quickly that I thought were going to be throughout the film.
I did like the action, yeah. I thought it actually, to me, it stood out more than it did in Rogue One. So
What? Really?
Yeah. I thought that the hits were heavier. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big Rogue One fan. I liked it.
Why? Why?
I feel like Rogue One drags a lot. I mean, we could go through it. We're gonna have to do a commentary on it. Did you just cover up your Blu-ray?
No. You don't know the power of God.
Okay. Just that 15-second clip, yes, makes the film.
How dare you? But how dare Vader? Don't listen. Don't listen.
The main dude, the main Empire guy, I don't like him at all. We're getting off topic.
Director Krennic? What? He's great.
He's okay.
How dare you? How dare? Well, that's fine.
We'll have to go and do a commentary of this film.
We should do that. We should do a commentary on this because we just did a commentary recently. We should do another commentary. Incredibles, it's coming. Incredibles commentary. Get ready for that. We'll pitch it again later. Anyway, I want to ask you something. What do you think about the Kessel Run? The whole
uneventful, very uneventful for how much it's been. Well, I mean, for how much it's been talked about, like it wasn't like he was like, oh, I made the Kessel Run, and everybody's just like, so.
But like he dodged like a bunch of like rocks, and then there was like a gigantic space monster that went into like a black hole. How is that uneventful?
I mean, that was cool, but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, not uneventful in that way. I mean, I'm trying to think of my words for this. Obviously there was a lot going on, but
sure. Yeah.
It was a lead up, and I don't know.
Okay, well, a lot of people thought that, it didn't do super well, unfortunately. It looks like it pulled in about $84 million for its opening weekend, which is not the best.
No.
I
In
don't
all
know.
markets, I think it was like 109.
Yeah, and right now, as of this recording, it seems like worldwide it's pulled in about 179 million. Uh, if you go and listen to our other, maybe you've heard other podcasts where we talk about like opening weekends for certain things.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's a few things contributing to this. I think the fact that we had Star Wars back in December doesn't help a lot, so it's only been 5-6 months since then. I think the fact that it's about Han Solo just alone doesn't really sell people. And I think because it's a spin-off and a lot of people were divided to on The Last Jedi, not a lot of people were excited to go see this. So I think they should have waited until December. And there's a ton of other big movies like Avengers, is kind of winding down, but they've had Deadpool, and then they're going to have Incredibles coming up and Ocean's 8 and some of these other movies that are going to crowd around it. So I think it's kind of in a bad spot.
Well, and people are gone for Memorial Weekend too. I mean, people
I would say that, but then again, for like July 4th and stuff, people also go see movies a lot. So it's like they still make time to see these things. I just don't think there's that fervor. But maybe around here, I know what you mean, Levi, where it's like people are kind of going up north.
I think Solo suffers from the exact same reasons why I was super. I mean, if you look at a couple podcasts ago, my hype on it was very low.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the marketing was so shitty for this movie. We didn't hear anything or see anything until Super Bowl, which is so dumb. That was only 3 months ago.
Well, yeah, I understand that because sometimes they don't like to. That's what they did for Iron Man, though. I think originally too, the first.
Yeah,
Iron
but
Man.
this movie needed more time to breathe. This movie needed more exposure, more build up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's on their part for not giving us something sooner. We should have been given the trailer back in Last Jedi.
The problem is we had issues with the directors. The fact that they got rid of the two they had there, and then they brought Ron Howard in. I also think there's something to be said about showing a sequel or even a prequel to a movie before the movie. It's like why we didn't see probably a lot of Ant-Man and Wasp trailers before Infinity War. It's because they don't want to kind of be like, oh, this movie you're watching right now, like it's a big deal, but don't worry, there's other movies coming. Like they want you to be focused in on this.
But
so
I'm thinking of Rogue One build-up was great. The trailers were amazing. I mean, I still have that siren stuck in my head.
Well, yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of reshoots they did with that though too. There's some stuff in those trailers that is not in the movie, like them running on the beach, the TIE fighter coming up behind her like that, but seeing Vader come out of that smoke for like 1 second, I was like, it's like my boy.
But those trailers were much better at and that's why Rogue One I feel like did a lot better. It had a much better build up.
Well, and Rogue One didn't come out like 6 months after the last Star Wars film, and it had Darth Vader, and it had a lot of stuff going for it.
Did it come out before Rey or before Seven or
Force Awakens, and then Rogue One the year after, and then they did Last Jedi, and now it's Solo.
Was it a full year? It wasn't a summer release. Okay.
Yeah, I think originally some of these movies were going to be that, but then they pushed them back. It should just be every December, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought when I heard that this was going to be a summer release was they're putting it out to die pretty much because they didn't have a lot of faith in it. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have the backing, of Ant-Man's going to do well because Ant-Man, people are all like curious about where he is. They want to see a sequel. And we have those smaller movies like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man that Disney knows that they're going to have a smaller audience to begin with, but they still do well because they're strategically put out there.
The problem is they build into that narrative, and I wonder if they've ever considered doing something like that. So in between, say, 8 and 9 for the episodes here, Star Wars, what if they did an offshot where it was just about Finn? I just don't know if it plays as well because they can't really base an entire movie. At least I didn't think they could until Solo now, but it's harder to base an entire movie around one of these characters who isn't already connected and doing stuff all the time with these other players like Rey and stuff. So yeah, I guess maybe that's the question. Maybe they would have done a Finn and Rose movie and it would have been about the casino the whole time. That would have been, oh boy, that would have been terrible. Talk about what?
We'll talk about flops.
Yeah, that'd be horrendous. So my question too for you, talking back to Solo proper here, there's something I wanted to know with these other characters that died off really quickly. Were you interested in knowing anything more about them, like L3 or L337, Leet or whatever, the robot, like Lando's robot, or Tandy Newton, Beckett's girlfriend, wife, lover, or the guy Jon Favreau, who you correctly figured out, Levi, the blue monkey guy with the multiple arms who voiced him.
That was him? Okay.
That was him. And he died too. Were you like interested at all to know more about them?
No, when a movie like that kills off the character so sudden and, you know, without a really big purpose, then that makes me feel like that they're not big into the narrative, so I don't really need to know.
Yeah,
I don't really need to care.
I feel like Rogue One earned it a little bit more because it's like a lot of the movie build up and yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though that this movie does pretty well, even though there's some things I really like and some things I'm like, it's fine. Two things. One, I love Star Wars when it's about the war, and seeing Han in the trenches was really cool. And I thought, in my heart of hearts, I had hoped that my boy Vader would be seen for like 3 seconds on the battlefield, just going boom, boom, like blocking, blasts and stuff. Because like they showed like the actual gritty warfare, which I really love because I feel like a lot of Star Wars films nowadays don't get to show that in the same way, or like they just didn't have the tech for it. Like I love like Hoth. Obviously Hoth is great, but if you go back and watch that, it's not really gritty, it's just like there's like 3 or 4 walkers and like just some like 40 rebel troops. It's like fire. It's like not. It's like this was like in the mud planet, like dirty and gross. I was like, I love this, so good. But also that surprise twist that freaking Darth Maul is back in the game, baby. Even though a lot of us knew that he wasn't dead during this time period. This movie taking place 10 years before A New Hope. Darth Maul. Were you happy to see him, Levi? Were you hurt? Were you angry?
I was ecstatic to see Darth Maul. I mean, if that gives us either a Han Solo sequel where he's running down Darth Maul the whole movie, or Darth Maul sequel, or even an Obi-Wan film where they tie that in together, I'm hopeful for all three. Did he need to pull out his lightsaber? No, he did.
He had to confuse people. There has to be a lightsaber in every movie.
He didn't need to activate it. But I think he looked super cool as like an older Darth Maul. I couldn't really tell that he had robo legs, but people
they're kind of shiny. For people who are kind of confused, Ray Park, the person who played him actually in Phantom Menace, is back playing him, but being dubbed over by Sam Witwer, who did his voice in the Clone Wars and Rebel TV shows. So if you're like, okay, who the heck? Who is this person? So yeah, Darth Maul's back. He's not dead. I grabbed Levi really hard. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what's happening?
I still have the bruise.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get him interacting with Han, because when we meet Han in A New Hope, he thinks like the Force is a bunch of, hooey kafooey, so I don't think you have him fight like a Sith or a former Sith, and be like, oh yeah, whatever. That's just, mumbo jumbo. So I don't think you'd have that. I think this was testing it out to see if people really want to see a standalone Darth Maul film. I think people walk away from this movie and be like, man, that movie was kind of meh, but I freaking love Darth Maul. And like, Disney's like, perfect. Let's
Disney
make a freaking.
People love Darth Maul.
That's why we need to have it.
I think that'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like she's going to maybe be trained as a Sith.
I don't think
so. You
so.
don't feel that way, but I feel like she might be.
They're not going. He doesn't have the Darth thing anymore. He's just going to be a crime boss that has the Force. So he's just Maul because he's not part of the Rule of Two or whatever. But I think they'll do that, and they won't lead it up to Kenobi because they've already tackled that in Rebels. So I think it'll just be about him being a crime boss, and I think that's what the movie's going to be, and potentially from his perspective, which I think is really cool.
But he's going to have to die. I mean, he's still Sidious's apprentice.
No, he's not.
He's not.
Nope, because after he went down, Dooku became his new apprentice, and during this time period, Darth Vader would be his apprentice. So
he's on his own. Yeah,
he's on his own. He's on his own, which is pretty cool. And I just think there's a lot of potential there in some time where, because there's a lot of years there where Darth Maul was kind of AFK, as it were. He was just the at large, and people were like, "Where is Darth Maul? What's he been doing?" So
I'm sure he used some sort of like Force move at the end there to like hold on to something, and then maybe use one of his when he was falling down that shaft.
Just his hatred, man, it kept him alive.
Yeah, something had to have happened where he.
It's weird, but Darth Maul's back. That honestly is more exciting than anything for me. That's like I'm not gonna say it's like a 10 out of 10 of like excitement, but like it's up there. It's like I'm like, wow, this could be so cool, because we've not only been clamoring for that movie but also for that game for a long time. And I think that Darth Maul movie, especially nowadays with our technology and stuff, could be pretty dope. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And that was the coolest thing, kind of walking out of that whole experience thinking, wow, how did they tie freaking Solo into Phantom Menace and all that stuff? So there you go. So, but yeah, people, we want to know what you think about Solo. Have you seen it yet? Did you like it? Is it something that you want to, shout from the rooftops, or you kind of like, it was fine, just kind of like, don't really care about it. Yeah, because obviously Levi and I are kind of more in the middle. More so, it seems like. But yeah, Star Wars, man, it's just gonna keep on going, just keep on keeping on. Especially with the fact that I think the Yoda and Jango, or Boba Fett movies are going forward as well. So, which I wouldn't be surprised to see Jango Fett show up in the beginning or flashbacks with training Boba, which would be sick as well. I really see those movies are more interesting to me because I think both Yoda and Boba, and well, no, more so Jango, are more interesting than Han because we've already seen so much of Han. He's just like a regular dude. I think you need to start tackling those other weird characters. I think that's a good place to start.
A much more lightsaber focused film, I think, would be really, really nice.
Well, with Yoda, maybe a little bit, but if you do that Darth Maul one, for sure. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hold out hope for that Darth Vader movie.
Obi with Ewan McGregor. McGregor would be great.
Well, they are moving forward with that Obi-Wan film, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be in it. So I think we're still going to get that too. But I'm still holding up hope for that Darth Vader film. I mean, come on, Vader, come on, you can do it. We could do this film together. It's going to be great. Jedi Purge. I'm just saying, I would love that. Anyway, all right, Levi. I think that's enough Solo talk for now. But yes, we need to move into the next segment of the show that I like to call, that you like to call, that we like to call
Timekillers.
You got to do it with the gravel.
Timekillers.
Oh my gosh, that was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Oh my gosh. It's the games we've been playing, the movies we've been viewing, the TV shows we've been watching. Levi, what have you been killing time with, baby?
Pokemon Quest. I've been playing some Hyrule Champions.
Who's your favorite character in Hyrule Champions?
I've only played Link and Impa so far.
Wait,
and
Hyrule
Zelda.
Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors, yeah. Only played 3 so far. I'm saving a lot of it to play on the stream. So, I'm going to play a lot of Pokemon Go.
Yeah. I want to play Ganon. I want to play as Ganondorf.
Still playing some WoW. So still leveling my monk in WoW. So
sweet.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Man, I haven't been playing too much lately. Actually, I've been playing a little bit of Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain because it is a free game with gold for the end of May here on Xbox. I got done playing Conviction and Blacklist, 2 Splinter Cell games we're working on a video for. But besides that, I played a little Civ here and there.
What's up with? Are you done with Far Cry for right now?
Actually, I played that the other night with Joe, and it was a pretty good time. You kind of fight to like get kills sometimes, but it was good. No, I'm not done with Far Cry, but we played a lot of Far Cry, so I don't feel bad about it. One show I really gotta admit, I love and everyone should watch because it's stupid and wonderful, and it's a lot like my old show Leverage, but with superheroes. Everybody should watch Legends of Tomorrow. It's dumb and weird and all over the place, but it is great, and it is a love letter to just pop culture in general. Please go check out Legends of Tomorrow. I would recommend, though, you start with the first season because if you go anywhere other than that, you might be confused. And even then, you might still think, who the heck are all these people? Because and what kind of abilities do they have? But it's so great, man. Like, they're not tied down to anything. Like, they can go in any time period, and they can fight with anyone, fight against anyone. Like, it's really fun and cool, and yeah.
Is this CW? What is this? DC?
It's CW, man. Yeah, definitely. It's from the Arrow Flash universe stuff, all that combined. It's very good. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna say it's a guilty pleasure because I legit enjoy it. I legitimately enjoy that show. I think it's really fun. And I'm gonna start watching Arrow and Flash coming up here, and then Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt I think is premiering today.
Yeah, Unbreakable.
So, yeah, Unbreakable. Which is pretty great. Which, by the way, the guy who was on here 2 weeks ago, Rob, accidentally walked into one of those hot sets while they were filming. So there's a chance you could see Rob in the back of one of those scenes in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt this season. So keep an eye out for that, which is pretty funny. So, all right, Levi, it's time to move into my favorite segment of the show, community feedback and questions. So I'd asked people to kind of talk about a little bit what they feel like with Pokemon Go and Solo and all of that stuff, but pretty much it seems like people with Solo, it really depends on who you ask and talk to, and Pokemon Go I think is still a little too fresh with people. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just get right into the questions this week. So, and I don't prep Levi with these questions. So Levi, you ready to answer some questions, some hard-hitting questions?
Let's do it, baby.
Okay, so this is from Misselmate. She says, the majority of games get most of their coverage pre-release or immediately post-release from game media. with most coverage stopping there unless games get into the GOTY debate. I understand. Oh, by the way, GOTY, Game of the Year, obviously. I understand that games have to be judged as and when they are released, and companies should be criticized for releasing subpar products. But do you think there's enough coverage about games that have maybe improved over time, or the price point that has reduced enough for them to be enough value? Thinking about games like For Honor, Order 1886, or even games that have been forgotten, like Neo. A lot of these games are the first in a new franchise and could get the lack of coverage possibly stopping them from getting sequels that are much improved and fun to play. What do you think, Levi? What do you think about games like For Honor, like Neo, and stuff that aren't really getting news anymore?
I think it's a shame because Neo was actually supposed to be really promising. For Honor, I played for a bit, thought it was okay. I wonder if microtransactions kind of killed that game for me. I know that it wasn't a very microtransaction heavy.
No, it was more so that they didn't have dedicated servers for a while, and then they did get dedicated servers, and they've added more like.
Felt like every time I logged into that game, it was like buy this pack or buy this, or I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. It's gotten better since then. I can assure you of that. But anyway,
okay.
Do you think that games need to get more coverage though? It's not. I guess maybe the problem is it's not as hot or sexy to be like, hey, For Honor is better now. It's like it's too late, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Neo, I'm surprised though didn't take off like it should have because it's got a nice little cult following.
I think it's got a critical following. I think it just was. It's overshadowed by Souls, and I think there are other games, you know, like Bloodborne and stuff that are coming out, and we don't know what that Shadows Die Twice game is going to be from software. And then there's also Ghost of Tsushima that's coming out. That's a Samurai Ninja game. So it's kind of in a weird space right now. I think that there is just too many good games to pick from. And if you make a poor first impression, look at Sea of Thieves. That means that game is going to not be talked about. I think people will jokingly talk about it, and I think people will say it's the biggest letdown or disappointment of this past year, but I think that's the problem. And it's not as cool to talk about games that have already come out that have gotten better, even though they do from time to time do that, like Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor, Division even has kind of gotten a resurgence. So I think it does kind of suck, and I think there is an audience out there for the diehard, like people who are sticking with these games. But I get why a lot of companies move on and they don't cover that stuff as much anymore, which is kind of unfortunate because, like, if you look at For Honor now, especially at a reduced price point, if you can get it and with all that new stuff in there, that's a much more enticing game than it was at launch. And at launch, it was still a really good game. It just had some server issues, and multiplayer games live and die by their connectivity and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a good question though, Missile Mage. And I feel bad about Neo because I think Neo is a legit good game that just didn't
take off. Yeah.
Riley asks us, which version are you getting for the new Pokemon? I think we decided you're going to be Eevee. I'll probably be Pikachu. But he says, does your friend's choices affect you when getting different versions of the games, i.e. Pokemon? Levi, has that ever affected you as a kid? Were you ever like, oh man, like my buddy's got blue, I should get red, or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I remember trying to get the opposite of what my buddy had. So, like, if Steve had silver, I had gold, or if Colton had gold, I had silver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, my parents, because I have a twin sister, we would always get, you know, like gold and silver, blue and red, and we just would have that one. So it was kind of like we never switched though. We just traded. So it was kind of cool because we'd sit there with our little link cables. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you've got like Growlithe, and like I fell in love with Growlithe too late in life. Like, and Growlithe looks way different in Pokemon Red than it really does. Really messed up. So kind of, but more often than not, it hasn't, and they haven't really done versions of games recently like that still. So hasn't affected it as much in more current times. But great question, because I definitely going forward with Levi now, I'm kind of like, hey man, are you gonna get Eevee? Because I'll get Pikachu. Like, you know, we'll make sure that's good to go. Which I'm excited about. So
I forget how messed up the sprites were for Mankey and Growlithe and Pokemon.
Oh man, that's if you want to go see some terror, go back to the old red and blue for some of those sprites, like, and the seeing like
Charizard from the back, and you're like, what is that?
Or like Charmeleon's got like an actual little horn, and like your Pokemon looks so dumb and stupid from like this behind angle. But, oh my gosh, yeah. But I believe that's gonna do it for us this week, man. Like we talked so much, there's so much to talk about, but We'll limit it this week. But if you ever have a question or a topic for us to discuss here on the show, all you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast to either of us. You can tweet at our official account, which is at Go Critical. That's a capital G, capital C. Or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013 on Twitter. If you want to tweet at Levi, though, if you want to just tweet him why he's wrong. He's wrong about Solo. Oh my gosh, he's so wrong. Where can they find you, Levi?
The haters. Yeah, no, I'm at Levi Fletcher.
I was really hoping you were going to say at Lever_627. just
like Lever.
Only with an L. Yes, please tweet at Joe at Lever_627 and say like hashtag where are you or hashtag why you be ducking. I don't know. Where you be? Yeah.
You the new Thomas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. There we go. Not worried about that. Anyway, let's establish the channel, right? So I got a few people I want to thank. But before we do that, Levi and I are streaming, and Levi kind of talked about this a little bit, but I was streaming today. We stream throughout the week and sometimes on the weekends if we can, but we're at twitch.tv/critical reviews. That's a good place to come hang out with us and play some games and just talk to us, just like this. It's really great. It's a fun place. We have a really, really good community, some great mods, some wonderful people there. We also have a Discord if you guys ever want to hang out there. It's a wonderful, safe place to be. I want to thank This Is Dale for our theme music, and I want to thank the one, the only, Yoren Evers, the guy who does almost all of the art you see here and all of our Patreon art as well. He is no longer doing commissions. However, he is working on a comic, and he has a little blurb about that comic that he wants me to read for you right now. When David opens a mysterious box that transforms his arm into an alien weapon, he at first uses it for good to right the wrongs of his high school. But as more of his body is transformed, he finds that playing God comes with its own set of new, self-destructive perils. And then he went on to elaborate, saying, "It's at its core, it's more like Venom meets Chronicle." This is a comic that is coming in the months to come. Say that just many times you can, but it is on its way. So if you want to go check out where he is at with that, check out his Instagram and check him out at Niraj28 or at Jade Circle Art over on Twitter, because that's where he's at. However, if you do still want a little bit of that Yoren art and you're like, man, I really want to get that, I want to get a cool thing that helps Yoren, helps Jimmy and Levi and Critical Reviews, then you can donate to us over on patreon.com/critical reviews, where you can get your own little avatar of yourself with your face on it. And depending at certain tiers, you get different gear and stuff. And actually at the $75 tier, that's where you can change the look of it. And you can make it however you want with whatever weapon and whatever accessories. So if you want to support us, that is the best way to do so. Besides just kind of sharing us with a friend or subbing over on our YouTube and Twitch channels. Those help as well. So yeah, Levi, I think that's pretty much everything for this week. Is there anything else you want to say in closing, my friend?
Pokemon.
Pokemon what, though?
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Let's Go.
Let's go. Here we go.
These these naming things, they're gonna be the death of me. Like seriously, it's just so I don't know what else you would have called it. Anyway.
The next one's gonna be like Pokemon. Get in the fucking Pokemon.
Get in the Pokemon. We said Pokemon Let's Go Johto.
Yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Johto. That's the sequel. And calling it now.
One, they won't even change the names. One will just be in silver font, and one will be in gold font. And they'll just be like, but which one is it? Yeah, you're like, did I get the silver one? Gold? Anyway, thank you so much for being on. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching and all that stuff. Thank you for liking and sharing with all of your friends and commenting on YouTube. We love hearing from you guys. You guys are the reason we do this. And just remember to adapt and overcome. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.